Well, here I am again on my way back from Taliban, still in Taliban right now. So I'm trying to avoid killing someone because the Filipino disregard for their own safety when it comes to vehicles is amazing. So I'm in one of the back streets now, and I've been looking at stuff that everybody can see on YouTube. Get me straight. Yeah, it's funny how we have actually become almost immune to the idea of conspiracy theories because most of what was formerly regarded as a conspiracy theory has now become easily available, openly declared by those that would enslave us. Am I overacting? I don't think so, because what is now being talked about is the digital ID and digital currency all tied in. Now, we've had a little trial run on this, haven't we, by the digital vaccination cards that they did for us, and that was regarded as being something of a test run, you know, as if it was to see how we would respond to such draconian measures which actually are openly declared as not working, like lockdowns. A little while ago, when they talked about reintroducing lockdowns, was after Odette, the super typhoon that swept through quite a large part of Bohol and Cebu, and they talked about locking down people in their homes, and the governor wasn't very happy about that. And it was, I think, Miss Garcia who said, where are we going to lock them down? 90,000, actually it was well over 100,000, were made homeless by Odette. So that never happened, and soon it may be down to our willingness to say no to some of these things. And the restrictions that are put on us are mostly enforced by people who have no real desire to enforce them, and yet we're still going along with it. I still see people wearing a mask when riding a motorcycle solo, and can't quite get my head around that. So just a quick review that of a common man, which I am, about what the whole digital era, which they're trying to enforce on us, and what it will mean. It will contain everything about us. There will be no privacy at all. If you ever saw, I think it was, let me see, was it Blade Runner, of how bad things could be. Now the thing is that it doesn't take a lot of working out, does it? That if everything about you is there on a screen somewhere, on a computer screen somewhere, everything is known about you, what you earn, where you go, how much you spend, what your health situation is. Every single thing will be there. how much you have in the bank, whether you were ever overdrawn, whether you, I don't know, how many times you go to the toilet, it seems to me, and it will all be there. And if you doubt that the banks, via the authority of the government, or even then, not even with that, if you doubt that that can be done, that your account, yes, present company not accepted, that's you and me, everything about you is known, your account is known, how much you have, how much you spend, where you spend it, how you spend it, all of those things are there, and permission to do all of those things is at the hand of the government. Now this has already been shown to be possible in Canada, when people who were lawfully demonstrating had their accounts stopped, not closed, just stopped. They couldn't withdraw, they had no access to their own money. And that's just the tip of the iceberg, as they say, because everything else can be stopped as well. It is that thing of you need to be current. If everything is hinged on a card, does it even have to be that way on a card? Probably not. When you go into a store to buy anything, it will be on the approval of the powers that be, wherever they are. And if you have been naughty and expressed an opinion which does not fit in with the narrative, then you will not be allowed to buy. And if you look at a recent case of, I think the man was a cop, I'm not quite sure, going just anecdotally on memory now, but the man suddenly found that the bank had closed his account only by a phone call, as I remember. A phone call, the man who made the phone call was paying him the courtesy of letting him know that they were unable to give him an account. Now the thing is that because he had been refused an account at one bank, we never heard the final thing on that case, but it would be logical to assume that other banks would be, shall we say, reluctant to extend an account to him. Now, what was tied up with his account? Well, obviously money going in, money coming out. What he earned would go in, probably on direct debit, and what he would pay out, possibly on a credit card or an ATM card. And so he worked his life and his family's life on his bank account. He had, I believe, either one or possibly two mortgages. Now they were giving him a few weeks before he arranged his affairs. What could he do? What could he do about a mortgage? So this was a catastrophe for this man, who prior to this apparently had been in good standing. This is the kind of thing that will be so easy for them to do if everything is digital. There won't be any money, so you can't go on cash. This is the perfect control mechanism, because if you can control whether someone can buy food to eat, you got the ultimate control. Because how long can a man go without food? How long can a man's family go without food? We are entering into a future which is actually terrifying to my way of thinking. Now, is this a future thing? Like far into the future? you know, like science fiction. You don't even think about it, like flying cars, and, you know, a Star Wars kind of existence. No, it's not actually, because the target, as according to the WEF and Mr. Schwab, is for 2000, final 2000, everything done by 2030. But they're actually on track to making all this happen by 2000, let me see, we're in 2023, 2024 or 25. We could be facing all this as a done deed, and it will trickle down to us through our local people. In our case, in the Philippines, the barangay captain. Now, they just had a recent, I think it was either yesterday or possibly today, they wanted people to come in to have a meeting. So people with homes in the area, in the barangay, summoned by the captain and told about rules where they had to make sure that the waste water that left their kitchen sink didn't just go out into the ground. So we are having to make sure in our new construction that, of course, this doesn't happen. And it kind of shows the control that is going to be coming, where everything that you do will be known and controlled. In England right now, under King Charlie, they're having local councils, something like over 300 local councils have voted to instigate the smart city, I think they're calling it. Could be wrong on that. There's nothing smart about it. 15-minute zones where you are not allowed to drive your car except by special permission, and then only by a privileged 100 times for a year with severe penalties. And the idea being that they're going to save the planet by making sure that nobody ever uses their car. So we're all going to be, in that case, in the UK, they're all going to be cycling round and walking, because they won't be able, if the authorities have their way, they won't be able to use their car. And they're calling them smart zones, 15-minute cities. This is not conspiracy theory. This is happening now. You can look and you can find this thing out. You can find it out for yourself. But first of all, you have to get over this conditioned idea that anything that seems like it's too bad to be true, it's just not possible. It's a conspiracy. You've got to get over that, because that's how they stop you from finding out things which are happening, which just seem like too draconian to be real. Probably I'll get blocked for even saying all of this. That's how badly we are being censored, that we're not allowed to say certain words. The most informative people who are on YouTube, who are on Facebook, who are on these other sites, even then are careful as to what they say, because artificial intelligence, the algorithms, I think they're called, they're watching out and they're looking for keywords. Is this conspiracy? If you really think so, you can find out what is planned by going to videos where the WEF, the World Economic Forum, are openly saying what their agenda is. And it all hinges guess what? Uncle Billy Boy. And if you don't know who Uncle Billy Boy is, you really need to do some finding out for yourself. Eugenics. The problem, according to them, and in their case it will be present company accepted, they're talking about depopulation. Well, with small businesses going out of business, soon it will only be the big companies that you can go and buy anything to, and of course they will definitely enforce all of these insane rules and regulations which they're going to depopulate the world with. Oh God, what do I sound like a madman? And the ironic thing is it's all there for you to find out about. I'm almost there now. We'll sign off.